Welcome to the Iconoclastic Wrestling Podcast. And here's your hosts, Iconoclast and Dictato.
Welcome to the Iconoclastic Wrestling Podcast. I'm Iconoclast.
And I am your host, Dictato. I have one correction to make, though, from last week. Remember the people that did the Cody parody? I said it wrong, and I don't want to leave them out. The Things You Don't See podcast, not that you don't see us podcast, sang us in last week. So
yes,
all right. I have to do that. We have to be correct.
The Cody song that I sent you.
Yes, that was fucking great.
Okay, let's start here. Johnny Knoxville, who's actually in the middle of a big lawsuit right now for over $2 million.
With who?
Someone else, like he was on some kind of show with
I can't imagine somebody like Knoxville getting sued for all the jerk-off shit he does.
With Eric Andre, like the prank something.
Yeah. Is it ridiculousness?
No, it's not ridiculousness. It's some kind of like prank judge show where they, I don't know. It's them and some woman who do it. They're like judges or something. And Johnny Knoxville would keep tasing Eric Andre. I remember. But apparently he's getting sued because he kept tasing someone on the writing team as a joke, and he wouldn't stop. So now they're suing him for $2 million.
If we had writers for this show, I would tase one once a week.
Why do we need writers?
I don't know. We don't.
We're already the Woodward and Bernstein of the wrestling journalism.
Or the Statler and Waldorf. From the Muppet Show. They used to be the guys up in the Muppet Show up in the corner that would complain. You're like, oh, it's a good show. You're like, I've seen enough. Let's leave. You know?
That's one thing I want to say. That's what their names were. Remember I told you about what was EC3's promotion that he started?
Control Your Narrative.
Yeah, Control Your Narrative. I remember there was a thing in Control Your Narrative where they had Angelo Parker and Daddy Magic.
Is he the one that married that, what's her name?
Yes, Angelo Parker married Ruby Soho. They're having a kid.
We didn't have to marry her. This isn't the 40s, for Christ's sake.
No, but
bad enough he knocked her up. I mean, ugh.
But then,
must have been dark in there. That's
as
all I
was saying, they had Angelo Parker and Cool Hand were like up in, like the opera box watching the show, and they just gave commentary the whole time.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
That's what the guy called us at the AEW show when we were talking to him. The guy thought we were funny at first. He goes, I don't know what you're talking about. We're talking to his buddy. He's like, I got Statler and Waldorf here behind me. And I was like, I'm sorry. He goes, no, you guys are funny. So, so Knoxville hasn't been seen on WWE since the Sami Zayn match the other year, right? With the gigantic mousetrap and shit.
Yeah, he put him in which was actually entertaining.
Yeah, see, that scumbag, though, when they bring out Party Boy,
who's
Pontius,
Party Boy?
Chris Pontius, the guy that comes out in his underwear and dances to the boombox. I can't stand him from the movie because they did the thing in Jackass where they had the guy dress up like an Indian terrorist and they shaved all their pubes off to make a beard for him. Fucking Pontius, the scumbag, had crabs.
Oh.
And he's disgusting. I mean, I'm all about practical jokes, but Jesus Christ, keep your STDs to themselves.
I remember I saw that movie on HBO. It was so...
Oh, it was hysterical. I used to watch Jackass all the time, but...
No, so as
I could do a whole 12-hour podcast on how much I used to watch Jackass.
So let's get back to the big sweaty dudes in underwear.
Yes. Drew McIntyre, the challenge game.
Oh, wait, that's the reason people like you don't like the Bucks. It's because they're not big and sweaty.
No, and they suck, too.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I got to tell this to our audience. My co-host has an irrational hatred of the Young Bucks and the Elite.
And my co-host has an irrational explanation for what professional wrestling is. So we'll just go with that.
Well, guys,
that's the point of having the show. Point, counterpoint.
Like, this is the thing that I don't like, is that people, like the Cornette heads, and Meltzer is guilty of this too. They both do this, where it's like they both have a specific definition of like what pro wrestling is.
Yeah, but Dave's keeps changing depending on like what pair of underwear he's wearing because he's either an AEW fanboy or then he pulls his dick out and he's urinating on him. Cornette at least is, what he likes, what he doesn't like. That really doesn't change. Yeah, unless the person changes like he is with Omega, because Omega It's hard not to like Omega with his babyface Twitch turn right now. I mean, I know he's not in the ring or anything, but he's making sense when he talks. So
yeah, and then he's booking matches from his hospital bed.
yeah, let's have now who's going to book matches this week? We're going to have 6 more people on top of that book matches. You weren't alive yet for WCW 2000. I don't care what you watch, but tuning into that every week.
This is not WCW 2000.
It's not yet. We'll see.
WCW 2000 had no good people on the roster.
Sure they did. They had plenty of good people. Luger was still there. Sid was still there.
Luger and Sid. Would you call them good
Steiner,
wrestlers?
Flair, Sting, Booker T, as much as I don't want to admit it.
Hart couldn't really
There was a story out about him. Booker T saying he politicked his way to the WCW title. I was like, see?
I didn't think he really politicked his way. There was just no one left.
Yeah, he had the U.S. title and the WCW title on the last night because he beat Steiner in the last Nitro. And, because Booker T wound up giving Canyon the U.S. title or something.
Why?
I don't know. That whole invasion's a blur. And we got way too into it because we shouldn't have, because nobody good was there. Yeah, the Natural Born Thrillers were okay. I liked that.
Yeah, because all the biggest stars had Time Warner contracts.
They were they had another 2 years on them, so they would just sit around.
Like Nash, Hall,
Goldberg,
Hall, Hogan.
Yeah. Hogan, Hall, and Nash came in February of 2002 when Vince brought in the l.w.o. because Flair owned the WWF now. He was like his partner.
Yeah, I know, because that's where Shane and Stephanie sold their shares to Flair to buy WCW.
When Shane and Stephanie sold their shares to the consortium.
The consortium!
Woo! The consortium was me! Woo! Anyway, gotta get some of that in there.
Okay.
All right, so Drew's facing Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship at Clash at the Castle. Drew should get a decent pop for that. They're going to be in Scotland, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, he main evented
last time. Weren't they in Wales the last time?
Yeah, he was in... Yeah,
but he's from Scotland, so they're gonna.
Yeah, but he got a big pop in Wales too. So.
Well, it's England, Scotland, Ireland, the United Kingdom, right?
Yeah. They were in Cardiff. I think this time they're in Glasgow.
Oh, Cardiff, Cardiff, Wales. There's some resistance for WWE trying to trademark the term "big time Bex" for Becky Lynch. I don't know. I've been unable to find out where the pushback's coming from.
Does someone else have that?
I don't know. Maybe she's fighting them for it.
I forgot.
Her contract's coming up still. Remember, she's got like a month left.
I saw someone was trying in the WWE was trying to call themselves the Queen of Extreme recently.
Oh, that was Liv Morgan or something.
Yeah, and Francine got pissed off.
Yeah,
because she was the Queen of Extreme.
I don't know of what, like extremely short skirts. Like she didn't really do anything other than show her tits once in a while.
Was she with Shane Douglas?
Yeah, and originally she managed the Pitbulls. Originally,
then she was with Shane.
Yeah, she was with Shane forever. I thought they were like an item, like a couple. They were together so long. Because they used to shoot vignettes down the shore. They'd be in the water and stuff like that, talking shit. So. Cody handing off to The Rock this year for the original WrestleMania main event was supposed to be uplifting.
How?
That's what I said. Because, well, I guess they probably expected a different outcome for it.
This is the World Fellation Federation. What?
Get back to that again, huh?
It's the truth.
You're not going to see The Rock again until probably at the earliest Survivor Series.
No, well, because I'm seeing
if there's something with two bloodlines and teams,
I'm seeing stuff that WrestleMania 41's main event is already set.
Yeah, but they had the other one set too, and they wound up changing it. The fans were heard. It's like the year Batista won the Rumble, and it was Bryan's year, and they did that. I mean, as much as I think it was fake, they had all those people come out this Occupy Raw where they ran in the ring and all this shit. But
it's the Yes Movement.
Yeah, the Yes Movement. That's what it is. But that's what people wanted to see. It was like the fall before that where Roman Reigns was Superstar of the Year. He was injured most of it. And you could tell that's...
Is that when he came out and everyone was chanting, "Fuck you, Roman," for like 15 minutes?
Yeah, they were chanting, "Fuck you, Vince," because they knew Vince picked him for that. So,
well, because Vince was probably having a love affair with him.
Well, he's a big... You talk about somebody who likes big, sweaty men in underwear. Vince is it.
Especially Samoans.
Yeah, he's loved them for years. All right, well, that's actually it for the WWE news, right? Is that all I gave you?
Okay, AEW. Don Stevens, who I've never heard of.
Don Stevens is on X. I have heard, I don't know if it's true, but I've heard from more than one source that Don Stevens is actually Aubrey Edwards, the referee.
What?
Yeah, the referee.
It's like a cover?
Yeah, like she's letting shit out without, but I don't know. I mean, I heard it from Cornette. I heard it from Wrestle Talk. I heard it from about 5 or 6 places.
Look, there's a lot of lot of rumors go around in the dirt. I don't believe this, that AEW won't get near their current rights deal and lots of contracts will be cut.
Well, you got to remember, I wrote that before I got the other stuff down here because there's more.
But also, didn't you tell me a couple days ago that, like, they don't make a lot of money from their TV contract in the first place?
No. So I'm wondering, hold on, I'm trying to find it. Because what I heard was, or what I read
I gotta think AEW makes a lot of money from merch sales.
Doesn't sound like it.
Really?
Their merch, like, I don't like the way they do their merch when we go to the shows. I mean, it's like, I don't like the way it's set up. Like, I don't know what to say.
Buy it online.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, but I used to like to go to the shows to buy shirts and stuff like that.
Because also AEW has stuff where they don't have, like, exclusive merch rights. Like at WWE, you could only buy their merchandise from them. But AEW has stuff like
they go with pro wrestling tees, yeah.
Yeah, and
which is smart, but that's where mostly everybody other than WWE goes.
Yeah, but that's why,
because it's a decent. Hold on, I'm trying to find my notes about
or micro brawlers.
Micro brawlers, yeah, I got an email from them the other day.
You know how many fucking micro brawlers I have? I have a Kurt Angle one.
Oh, really? All right, here's what I got.
Perk Angle.
This is from the AEW official Reddit. So I'm not banned from this yet. So
I wouldn't trust that if I were you. Go to Squared Circle.
No, they got it from Squared Circle.
Oh, okay.
They only get, it looks like, $44 million. Yeah, $44 million a year for Dynamite plus Rampage, which Rampage is ass.
Want to see Ruby Soho and Angela Parker's wedding photos?
Oh, no, Eddie, no, I don't want to see that.
John Silver was there.
Oh, God. What was he, the ring bearer? Because he's like 3.5 feet tall. They couldn't find a kid, so they used Silver.
David Otunga's coffee slurping gimmick.
David Otunga, he left wrestling years ago. You know why? He's got a fucking Harvard law degree, and he's married to Jennifer Hudson.
Why was he a wrestler?
Did you see how good shape he was in?
Yeah, but if you have a Harvard law degree, why are you a wrestler? It's like, what was the one guy?
Oh, you should have seen it.
Chris, who was the guy who was a WWE developmental and he got a concussion and then he became a neuroscientist?
Chris Lewinsky.
Yeah, Chris Lewinsky. He had a degree.
He was from Harvard, too.
Yeah. Why the fuck are you a wrestler?
I know. Why you get your brain scared?
It's like,
well, he's the one that he founded the Sports Legacy Institute after the Benoit thing.
Yeah.
He's the one funding all this
stuff.
It's like
with Raven. Raven
is in Mensa. Yeah, he's
in Mensa and he has an IQ of 190 and a criminal justice degree. Why the fuck do you people waste your time in pro wrestling?
Yeah, why get beat up when you could sit at a desk and make millions and maybe get a Nobel Prize? I don't know. But anyway, getting back to the deal, it says Dynamite and Rampage, $44 million. Now, on the antithesis of that, WWE, SmackDown had just signed a $1.4 billion, $287 million a year rights deal. Raw is reportedly going to get out of that $5 billion from Netflix. They're going to get $400 million per year. And in another thing, like in another sport, Major League Soccer gets $2.5 billion. So, and what I wrote in here too is AEW, it sounds like, or TNT is losing the NBA to NBC, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So there will be more room for programming. But if they're only getting $44 million a year for those two shows, it doesn't say anything here about Collision. But Dynamite and Rampage can go fuck right off. I don't even care if they ever broadcast that again. But only $44 million a year for that? That's low.
I think they need to get rid of Collision.
No, I'd rather keep Collision and get rid of Rampage.
No, because the thing is that Dynamite and Collision both tour separately.
Yeah, Dynamite and Rampage is what tapes together, right?
Yeah,
we never stick around for Rampage.
I think you need to have only one live touring show.
All right.
Hey, at least this isn't Ring of Honor.
Oh, you can get rid of that, too. They can get rid of that and burn every piece of the set. Because you took it and you ruined it, Tony.
We're not getting rid of the tape library, though. Apparently, when AEW...
No, the tape library is...
I've seen rumors that when AEW eventually goes on streaming, that they're going to have the Ring of Honor tape library with it.
Well, that'd be cool. It's just all over on YouTube now.
Yeah, but still, if it's all in one place, I mean. So,
okay, Cash Wheeler's assault charge is getting dropped before he even goes to court. I heard Dax came out and did a little promo the other night after they went off the air. Well, odd to have the crowd cheer for your buddy because he's not going to the can now. I was just surprised. I'd never seen anybody do that before.
FTR gun and FTR balls.
What? FTR. Is that what you call him now? FTR got it.
I got that from the internet wrestling community.
Dax Harwood will always be G. Gordon Liddy, the guy, one of the Watergate burglars. He looks just fucking like him.
Yeah. Eddie
Kingston suffers legit leg injury at NJPW Resurgence. And I wrote, hold on. I'll bet whoever his replacement is going to turn against Team AEW. Let's see if that happens, because I didn't know.
No, because I bet you not, because Darby's the replacement. So
yeah, but Darby being a bad guy.
No,
I mean, as much as I make jokes,
I don't think it'll work.
As much as I make jokes about those guys being small, because I know Darby's small too. As much as I make jokes about Jack Perry looking like a guy who used to sell me weed in the '90s on the corner somewhere, he just looks like, and he looks like he needs a bath.
God, like, did the Elite like steal one of your wives or something?
They could have both of them. I don't care. Steal them. Why don't you have them do something bad to me?
Okay, did they like? I don't like. Like, what did they do to you?
You can't argue with me, like, because you told me people don't like the Bucks. They do not have.
That's why they're trying to be heels.
Yeah, but it's not the kind of heat you want. It's get the fuck out of here.
No, I don't think they have go away heat. Jericho has go away heat.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah.
No argument there.
Talk about Jericho's making people fight in a little tournament to challenge him at Double or Nothing.
What's it called?
The FTW Contender Series.
They have a fucking tournament every month by some...
Because according to Jericho, it's the For the World Championship. Because this is for the world. Thanks, guys! You know, he has this very, like, up-shipper gimmick. Supposedly, it's supposed to be him making fun of CM Punk in WWE, how he acts now.
He doesn't sound anything like that. 25, 30 years in the business, now his whole character becomes a motivational speaker type gimmick. Jesus Christ.
I forget who had a
And why doesn't, your mother said this, why doesn't he look fat in the bikini pants?
I don't know.
He looks like a fat, he looks like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag when he wears the tights.
I forget, who had the motivational speaker gimmick? Was that DDP?
No, he really was a motivational speaker.
No, but like, didn't they make that into his like gimmick at one point?
No, he just sounded like one, I always thought, when he had that feud with Christian back in 2002, when Christian was throwing like the temper tantrums like and stuff.
No, but like Jericho is, you know, he's got the Redwood is what he calls him, Big Bill.
That's another fucking loser.
Big Bill. What's like a male stripper?
The best thing he ever did was when he was Enzo and Cash. That was the best thing.
I got to admit though, he has gotten in a lot better shape.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to say that.
Like
he's a big fucking dude.
Yeah, but he just doesn't have that much charisma. He just doesn't have any charisma.
No, and he's like,
he can't wrestle.
Know, like, why do they think you can stick like a bunch of shitty people together and get like a good gimmick out of it? Like, Jericho's star has fallen and supernovaed and burned out and crashed somewhere.
Well, I mean,
and he's dragging all these poor guys with him.
Well, I mean, we had the Oddities.
Oh.
I was reading about them. Did people hate them that much in the 90s?
I don't know. Thinking back on it, I never really cared when I saw them, but I didn't particularly care. Like, they were never on that much to bother me. Like, they had enough, even Vince Russo had enough sense to not put them on for, like, see, the thing is, too, you're talking about the Attitude Era. The segments were shorter. Like, if you had a backstage interview go more than a minute, you would be surprised.
God,
like, God damn, he's talking so
like everyone fucking had ADD back then on wrestling?
No, it's just they got into, like, interview backstage, guy gets attacked, you know, and there wasn't that much of let's make the match tonight stuff. Maybe there was a little bit, but... And it's just like you would start the show with
people say AEW's got no storytelling.
Name a good story. Say you can't do
the Elite versus Team AEW.
Oh, please.
Swerve versus Hangman, that rivalry.
Yeah, that
Hangman
was really
versus
good.
Omega.
I'll never forgive them for making... I have a problem with what they do with Swerve, though, because every week they make him look like nothing. What'd you give him the belt for, then?
Danielson and MJF, Danielson and Ospreay.
Yeah. But those, it's past. I'm talking right now.
Right now, AEW and the Team NWO. I like it.
The never were over team.
I like it. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that match.
All right. Good for you. Anyway.
Serena Deeb and Tony Storm. That's entertaining.
Tony Storm, at least they treat her like a star, you know? Like when she's at the scrums and stuff, they make her look like she's something. Like when I said the other week with Kenny when he came out, he looked like something, like a big deal, you know? And you haven't seen him in a while and things like that.
Swerve, I don't know.
What about
He's
Swerve?
just not in the biggest storyline right now.
Is he in any storyline? He just started one with Christian, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're having a match next, at the pay-per-view. It's going to be, I don't think it's the main event. I think Anarchy in the Arena is the main event.
Oh, that's going to be the main event?
That's usually the main event of Double or Nothing.
AEW always did a good job of making the world title match the main event, though.
The only time it's not the main event...
You have to get away from it sometimes.
The only time the world title match usually is not the main event is Double or Nothing because they have Anarchy in the Arena every year.
Yeah, they do.
Which,
but what's the difference between Anarchy in the Arena and Stadium Stampede?
Stadium Stampede, they only ever did that, like... Stadium Stampede's in a stadium.
Yeah, but wasn't it Stadium Stampede at All In, or was that Anarchy in the Arena? I don't remember.
That was it. I think that was supposed to be at Wembley because it was like a big outdoor stadium, I guess.
Yeah, because they were all through it. But when they did Stadium Stampede, they did it at Alltel, where Jacksonville plays, right?
Yeah, I've never seen that because that was during the pandemic. They couldn't have a big match.
You have to watch that.
I know
with the Cornette commentary
because they were supposed to do the first Blood and Guts match during that.
Yeah,
and they didn't because of COVID. So they did.
I watched that, you know, right? When Adam Page showed up on the real fucking horse, I was like, "Good night, folks."
God, why?
Like he's coming out like he's John. I don't know. It was just. I discount that, and I don't talk about that much because during the pandemic, I mean, you couldn't shine shit. I mean, you had to figure out a way to go on.
They had the TV store.
That was the best they could come up with. WWE.
They should have gone hiatus.
Yeah, I mean, some places, a lot of the sports did, and then they came back, remember? First thing that came back was Korean baseball. I was watching that 6 in the morning. I was getting ready for work. Even my work got cut. I was working 4 hours a day. Painting the house, cleaning it up, had a baby on the way. But enough about me. Dutch, another loser of the righteous, admits to shitting himself during a match with Roman Reigns back in Florida Championship Wrestling. Yeah, that's like the highlight of his career.
Didn't Sid shit himself once?
Once. He shit himself when Taker tombstone him.
How do you shit yourself in a wrestling match?
You ever have protein? You ever have too much protein?
Well, like why don't
it's
you
easy.
Why don't you just poop before you go out there?
I shit myself in your driveway one time.
What?
I had a protein shake. I was getting ready to go.
When was this?
A year or two ago. I was talking to your mother, and I went to try to.
Wait a minute. This was fucking a year or two ago.
Well, could you let me finish? So I don't sound like you're making it out like I'm some incontinent old man at the nursing home. I was talking to your mother in the driveway. I went to fart, and it was a little more than that.
You pooped.
Okay, I'll put it this way. It was a lot more than that.
You pooped in my fucking driveway.
So then I went to Nad's house because I was going over there to do something, like to move something for him. Now I got to throw my underwear out. She walks out. She goes, "Well, what'd you put? Did you put your underwear in there? Just shit yourself?" I'm like, "Oh, it's fucking embarrassing."
I've never heard this story before.
Nah, I just remembered it.
Okay.
Speaking of shit, Ricky Starks says he has no problems with CM Punk, doesn't care what anybody says, said the guy never did him any wrong. Also, says he has no idea why he's been off TV.
Because he's not all that good.
I don't think you know who I don't like? Who I think should stay off TV? Sammy Guevara.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of him.
He's suspended right now.
Did he get suspended for breaking Hardy's nose? Why would you suspend him for a botch? Like, that's dumb.
No, it wasn't a botch because...
Did they make it into something like he tried to do it like on purpose?
No, well, for this, the reason he's suspended now is because Jeff Hardy, they botched it, and he didn't get suspended for the botch. He got suspended because he didn't follow concussion protocol afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Like, I guess like you're supposed to stop and take it easy or something and talk to the guy or...
Yeah, but how are these guys coached like with that? I mean, you're talking about a lot of guys. Hardy had wrestled for WWE. Hardy, wrestled in WWF on Saturday mornings when he was 15. He was jobber. Him and Matt were jobbers. Like, so they've been around, and they've been around in big programs. But who is in charge of all that? Who's in charge of letting these guys know what the protocols are in the match? Because you see it a lot. You watch Moxley have to lose the title, remember? The international title? Because that dumb fuck, who was it, Phoenix? Not only dropped him on his head once, but did it a second time.
I think that was a language problem.
Yeah, well, that has to be addressed too.
I don't understand how New Japan and like Japanese wrestling in general doesn't have botches all the time.
Well, a lot of the guys that go over there like learn Japanese. Like I know the Bucks learn Japanese. Omega knows Japanese.
I know, but like for years,
I remember them saying,
but like, don't tell me Hogue.
"Dai Shmoo" means like, "Are you okay?" Like if you get hit, because they were talking. I remember watching them do an interview where they really super kick somebody. They're like, "Dai Shmoo, Dai Shmoo." I'm sure he was okay. So,
Yeah,
what do you mean Hogan knowing Japanese?
I don't know. I doubt you. Any of them weren't. Any of those old school guys were willing to learn Japanese.
I doubt it back then. Yeah, you just went over there and did whatever. But they have guys that speak English too. I mean, so
Christopher Daniels fired by
the Bucks on the 515 Dynamite. Like, do you really think that resonates with the people at all? Them firing him? Like, Kenny's one thing, kicking him or suspending him, whatever. Hangman's another. But Christopher Daniels,
he's a fan favorite. Everybody likes him. He's an old-time veteran that everybody likes.
I'm not saying nobody likes him, but do you think that doing that publicly does anything?
I know. They were booing him.
Yeah, but they're booing him for... Yeah, they could be booing him for many reasons, though. But,
Takeshita.
What about him?
Gets IWGP title shot.
No, it's a non-title shot.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
I had a title in there originally.
It's Eliminator, which a lot of people...
Which I'm getting sick of hearing that. Why can't we just say, this is to get a shot at the title? They say Eliminator.
Because that's what they say in like MMA and boxing a lot of times now.
I know about it, boxing.
Well, because now a lot of people are saying that this is going to let Takeshita beat him. So then they can have a rematch later.
It also probably has to do with, too, New Japan's not just going to let them book whatever they want for their champ.
From what I saw, the IWGP belt is being booked by a committee of Guido, Tony Khan, and Rocky Romero.
Tony Khan should be nowhere near booking that thing. Nowhere. Rocky Romero, I'll give him credit. Guido is an experienced booker.
Guido's not all that good either. Look at
He's an experienced booker.
The biggest heel they have in New Japan is Evil.
The whole thing about the champion, though, and the booking for it, like back in the day when you had the NWA World Champion traveling everywhere, when your guy, like you ran World Class, right? And Kerry Von Erich, this is like when he won the NWA title in '84 from Flair.
Talking to me about this old shitty wrestling.
See, you're the same way as me when I talk about the new stuff. So how can you even get mad with your ass backwards mentality of wrestling?
I mean, again, I just don't like this this old kind of.
I'm using this to explain about the booking of the IWGP title. That's the only reason I'm saying. Okay. When your guy from your territory would win the NWA title, that guy now belonged to the NWA. They book him wherever. You, as Iconoclast, the booker of World Class now, you don't get the book.
But I'm still paying the guy, right?
I don't know about that.
I know
you obviously get more. You obviously would get more money when the NWA committee voted you in to be the champion, because you're going. You're talking about when you would go all over the world like Flair, which is part of my criteria about how I think he's the best of all time.
I just love the story about when Paul Heyman and whoever else it was that owned ECW and they went against Todd Gordon when they betrayed the ECW. When they betrayed the NWA board of directors.
All that did was. It hurt Shane Douglas more than anybody. Because Todd Gordon was getting out. And Todd Gordon was a jeweler downtown in Philly. And Heyman was taking over. That was Heyman's idea. They fucked Dennis Coralluzzo, who was the president of the NWA at the time. He ran the territory out of Jersey because Candido was the champ for a while. They ran out of Carteret, where he was from. So,
because Candido's from New Jersey?
Yeah. Was.
I thought he was from down south.
Yeah, he was from Carteret, New Jersey. Speaking of AEW, though, how many people do you forget are in there until you see them? Because I was thinking today, there's so many guys who are on their contract who aren't even, you haven't seen, like Miro.
Miro is apparently very hard to work with.
Boom Boom, Colt Cabana, but they're still there.
Colt Cabana is a Ring of Honor, I think.
Yeah, but he's still getting paid by the same guy. I mean,
like some of these guys you don't.
That's part of the confusion too, with all the different shows and all the different. It's like Ring of Honor's it's like a punishment going over there.
It's like NXT, I guess. Sometimes.
No, that's belittling NXT when you say that. ROH isn't a developmental. There's nobody that starts there and comes up.
They're trying that.
Well, I wish them luck with it because it would be good.
It hasn't been enough time yet. With some of the newest people they brought in, I think.
I would have mothballed it until I had a streaming service, and then you see how much interest you get from the old library, right? No, I was just thinking about
Expecting Tony Khan to not act like a lobotomite. I mean, you can't really.
I mean, you remember last week when we did the Raw and SmackDown draft thing? You saw those pictures. Like, they cut down the size of their roster. So, I mean, considerably on both sides, which I think is good because not only is it going to save you money, but you put more money to where it's needed, you can manage it better because you will have guys off camera like we're talking about forever. The more guys you have, the less you're going to have to do with them, I think.
All right.
AEW, speaking of it, they have not had a sellout in 80 weeks.
I just think they got to get better at finding arenas to do.
What did you think about my idea when I said run smaller stuff? If you're only running 3,500, why run, the Compact Center in Seattle or whatever it was called?
I don't know. Maybe they're stuck in some kind of contract that they can't get out of with these venues. I don't know.
I don't know how that works exactly, but I'm just saying, like...
Oh, by the way, speaking of venues, I wanted to ask about this before I forget about it. I was watching YouTube videos last night after I was playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2 till like 3:30 in the morning.
Is that why you're sleeping when I text you about the time to do the show?
Yeah, because I'm up to... Yeah, it's the summertime. I'm off for 5 months.
Oh, yeah, you're done school already, aren't you? You've been done since the beginning of the month, right?
Yeah.
That's why I love that school.
Yeah, that we can't say because it will expose my identity.
Yeah, you'll be one of the 10,000 students that go there.
15,000.
Yeah.
But
need all the haystack anything to you.
But anyway, as I was saying, I was watching it, and it was about, I think the game was WrestleMania 19 for the GameCube.
Ooh. What a game. Never played it because it's too much money.
Something called Revenge Mode, where you would you played as a wrestler who got fired by Vince, and
really?
Stephanie hired you to sabotage WrestleMania 19, so you would go to the construction site and
Interesting.
Kill the workers.
Really?
And then you would go to the mall.
Those old WWFE games are so good.
Where they were selling merch, and you would vandalize the mall. And then you would go to the dock where they were bringing stuff in, and you would beat up the dock workers and throw them off a crane.
Wow.
The guy
I have a Wii over there that plays GameCube. I should get this. There's always so much money there. That, and there's Day of Reckoning and Day of Reckoning 2, which are some of the best wrestling games ever, and they're only on the GameCube. It's like I have WWF Raw and Raw 2 for the original Xbox. They suck. They really, really suck. There's nothing like the SmackDown versus Raw games, basically that's still what we're doing here is the SmackDown versus Raw. Now, maybe not. The engine's gone. But
anyway,
also, go ahead.
The guy I was watching play it said it was really funny, but to actually playing it was awful because they move because it's the same control scheme and moves.
Well, do you remember the GameCube controller?
Yeah,
with the kidney buttons and all that shit.
The kidney buttons.
They were shaped like this. I got one right over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
The only game I remember really playing on the GameCube, I remember digging it out to play Rogue Squadron.
Oh, fucking great. It's the only reason I have that Wii still. Say the kidney buttons, these things.
Oh, yeah.
But this is a horse's ass of a fucking... The only thing worse than this, well, actually, the N64 controller was good because I'm getting the N64 controller for the Switch so I can actually play GoldenEye the way I used to with the trigger
N64
underneath.
controller, gamer's first sex toy.
I got one of them in there for the computer.
Did you hear what I said?
Gamer's first sex toy? Why is it a sex toy?
First ever.
Is it shaped like a shocker?
First ever controller to have to be able to vibrate.
Oh, that's true. That was before the DualShock blew us all away with PlayStation 1.
Yeah, which you don't have the fucking DualShock anymore because you do not possess superior Japanese technology like I did.
I have Microsoft and they vibrate.
Yeah, it's American technology.
Okay.
PS5 that's outsold the new Xbox 2-1. But anyway, as we were saying,
well, what were we saying before we went off on this video game shit?
Let's talk about Double or Nothing. This is the big thing.
All right. Oh wait, before you get Double or Nothing, the Dynamite the other night. Did you see when Perry dumped the drink on Shivani's head?
Yeah, no, I thought it was hilarious.
I want to see him versus Tony.
Son of a bitch.
I would be in his corner for that match. Tony Schiavone, if you're listening, I'm the guy in October 21 who had the sign at the Liacouras Center that said, hating Schiavone since 1986. I do not like you one bit and haven't since then, but I would gladly be in your corner for you to really potato that little shit. Why do you hate him
so much?
Because he's a smug-looking piece of shit who couldn't beat up anybody.
Schiavone? No. Schiavone. Why do you hate
I don't know, because It's just when the WWF got him in like '89. I remember he showed up at WrestleMania 5. He was the backstage interviewer, the one I went to the closed circuit to. And Kevin's birthday was.
I forgot he was
weekend.
in WWF.
Happy birthday, Kev! By the way,
I only know him from WCW. Oh wow, it's Kevin's birthday.
No, it was on the 17th.
Oh,
but now Shivani was the co-host of SummerSlam '89. Which was a VHS that Kevin had stolen from me for years. I had to steal back while I was sleeping. Long story short, it survived being transferred to DVD and digital DVD, ISOs, and I made him a copy of it and sent it to him for his birthday. But it's just, I didn't like him. I just never liked his style of commentary. I think he was okay as an interviewer, but once he moved up into commentary, I was like, I'm not for it.
I know you hate AEW's whole commentary team.
I do.
Which I
Their
love.
commentators mean Nigel is the best one, but really, with all the shit going on, their commentators mean nothing to the actual product. They just,
I find them to be very entertaining.
Well, you're allowed to.
Sockface, Taz. The best lineup is the one that they do for pay-per-views usually, which is Taz, Excalibur, and Nigel McGuinness.
And Jim Ross comes in for the big matches lately.
Like, yeah.
Did you hear about Jim Ross talking about how he's like, I think Jerry Lawler still has a Legends contract with WWE, but he goes, I don't think we've called our last match together. I would love to see them do a show at AEW.
They'll just sit there and shit in their pants.
I don't know about Jerry anyway, because he had that stroke, man. But but getting back to that.
Isn't Jerry Lawler still wrestling matches at like 70?
Around when he had that heart attack, yeah.
So here are the matches. I have it up on my phone.
All right.
Willow Nightingale defends the TBS title against the CEO, Mercedes Moné.
Finally, she gets in the ring.
Hey, she took a bump last week. They did a contract signing, and Willow put her through the table.
Yeah, I saw it.
Because you knew
Shirley Hemphill from what's happening against Sasha Banks.
God, you don't like her. I thought you would have liked her.
Well, because she's big?
Yeah.
She's not attractive. She's busted. She's a busted face.
So does Nia Jax. I'm going to talk about her.
Yeah, her face is better than... I'm not saying she's attractive, but her face is better.
Nia Jax, Piper Niven.
Piper's cute. She's just, large.
Piper Niven.
Lesbo. So, but all right, go back to... All right, so that's
Scottish.
the women's match.
Okay, Roderick Strong versus Will Ospreay for the international title.
I hope they put that on later in the show. That'd be a banger of an opener, though, if you did it.
Because some people are like, Will should have gone straight to the world title scene after he beat Danielson. And I'm like, no, they shouldn't have done that.
Nah.
Because
you can take your time. That's what everybody forgets. You can take your fucking time with this shit.
Like,
you had these guys under contract for like 5 fucking years.
Well, because it's not like, it's not like in WWE where they're sending him to NXT or something. Like, if they give him like a mid card, like the mid card belt,
you start him underneath, and think about Goldberg back in the day. Goldberg came in, he squashed a couple people, then he slowly got up to not that they do squashes really anymore, but AEW does more squashes than WWE does. They got that whole squad. Their jobbers have a faction. The Shane Taylor Promotions. They're like the Job Squad of 2024.
Will Ospreay wrestled him on Collision on Saturday.
He shouldn't be wrestling anybody smaller than him, Taylor. All he's going to do is fucking hurt somebody. That
Shane Taylor?
That fat fuck.
He called him Swim Trunks?
Back tits.
Swim Trunks?
Swim Trunks Promotions. That's what I call him.
It's him and Lee Moriarty.
Oh, God.
Tiger Style.
Oh, fuck.
Who's actually a good wrestler.
Yeah. Go back to the double.
Time was Tony Storm with Luther and Mariah May defends the women's title against the most underrated women's wrestler of all time, Serena Deeb.
I don't know too much about Serena Deeb, so I'll hold it. I'm trying to watch more of the women's wrestling because I like Tony Storm, and like in WWE, I'm rooting for Jade Cargill to do better than she did in AEW. So I'm trying to be a good boy and watch more wrestling.
I'm biased against. No, it's.
I did miss the Bayley match at Backlash France. I don't know how I did. I must have been taking a dump or something.
It's not that I don't like Jade. I don't like Jade's fans.
But they didn't do her any favors when she was in AEW. She was just smashed, like she was trying to get over, like just smashing through people. And once they beat her, that was it.
It was like the female Goldberg. But Goldberg had, I don't know, Goldberg, it was like the woman Goldberg. But I feel like I don't know, maybe, I don't know what Goldberg had that she didn't. But
Goldberg had a resemblance to the hottest guy in wrestling at the time, Steve Austin. He was bald with a goatee. That's kind of something to do with it.
Really?
He went on Conan O'Brien and challenged Steve Austin, too. So we'll put up $100,000 a piece.
Okay, next match. Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana defends the world title against Christian Cage, accompanied by Killswitch, Nick Wayne, and Mother Wayne.
I'm more interested in that for Christian than I am for Swerve.
Because Swerve beat Nick Wayne on Collision most recently.
The heavyweight champion of the world fought Nick Wayne. Nick played.
Well, it's like the idea of he's beating up people in Christian like before they have their match, Christians send.
Yeah, that's an old thing you would do. You would go through the guy's stable. Like you'd go through the Heenan family to get the Andre. You got to go through Haku and then the Brainbusters.
See, you talk about how much you love old school wrestling, and then AEW does this more old school stuff.
I'm giving this one credit. I think this is okay. I said this is a tried and true formula. I don't you only hear what you want to hear.
It's like when people say that AEW is bad because you can, Dynamite's bad because you can predict who's going to win every single match.
No. I read that the other week, and they were wrong about everybody winning on the left side of the page when we were at the show the other night.
But even if that was true, that's what.
No, that doesn't make a difference to me if you know who's going to win.
Yeah, I know, but
it's how you do it.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. But you, like the rest of these fans, are in denial about what is going on with this as being run as a company into the ground. Wrestling product aside, this guy doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm here to watch good wrestling.
Yeah, but you want to keep your good wrestling, don't you?
I don't think AEW is going anywhere. If AEW,
I don't think so either, because TNA is still around.
This is the cosmic balance of wrestling. If AEW goes out of business, WWE will crash and burn again.
Yeah, but if AEW starts to really, really suck, you'll get the same result. So you have to root for everybody to be good.
Exactly.
And this is why I get so angry when I talk about this shit. And you get pissed at me and you start yelling at me. But I get so angry because I'm rooting for there to be more. When I was a kid and there was so many of them, or even when I was your age and there was two of them, two big juggernauts. And it's great. They're always trying to outdo each other.
And then one in third place that was better than both of them.
Who?
ECW.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, the big war for Monday night was them. Just the
ECW was on what, Saturdays, Fridays? Was
Friday night, it wasn't live either. It was all pre-tapes. It was all shit from around the country.
It was hardcore TV.
Yeah, but it was still good.
Which you can, I know you can find on Peacock, all censored.
Yeah, but it was nice to actually be able to find hardcore TV. If you didn't know where to look, especially living down here. Remember I told you on those DVDs I have WWAC Channel 53 from Atlantic City. Watching it, but once you finally knew where it was great. I watched Tanaka beat Mike Awesome on there for the world title.
Oh, yeah. God, Tanaka is still wrestling, and he's still does the same.
He's going to be like my generation's Gypsy Joe.
Who's Gypsy Joe?
Gypsy Joe, the guy fucking New Jack beat the shit out of when he was his big gimmick was no sell and stuff. He wrestled from the 50s. He retired 5 years ago.
I was seeing stuff with Tanaka.
His gimmick was the no sell stuff, and New Jack got pissed and beat the fucking shit out of him. And he says in his Dark Side ring, I beat the fuck out of a 105-year-old man.
Oh man, I love New Jack. I told you, I gotta watch that shoot interview where it's him, Sheik.
I've never been able to find it all. You can find clips of it. I've never been able to find it all.
Okay, next match here. The Elite, Kazuchika Okada, Jack Perry, Road Warrior Buck, and Balding Buck versus Team AEW. Bryan Danielson, FTR Gunn, FTR Bald, and Darby Allin in an Anarchy in the Arena match.
I still think Darby's going to turn. They're going to blame it on the bus accident. That'd be pretty sweet. If they do it, I'll be happy.
People still don't know how he's okay.
I did not like his pink waist-length bathrobe he had on the other night, though. Because you look at him, he's got the skull paint, he's wearing all black, comes out a pink jacket. Come on. Ridiculous. The fashion police should give him a ticket.
Adam Copeland defends the TNT Championship against Malachi Black in a barbed wire steel cage.
Ugh.
What?
Oh, the steel cage part of it. They had to do that because you know what I think of with that feud? That has done nothing for anybody.
It's Malachi Black's trying to turn him to the dark side.
Black's contract is also coming up soon, too. So I don't know if this is his swan song, but he was very good in WWE as Aleister Black.
Yeah. John Moxley versus Konosuke to take a shit, as you would say, in a IWGP Eliminator match.
I would like to see Take go over because...
And then they can have a rematch where he loses.
Yeah. Did you hear Take a Shit was in Japan? He was in there over the last week, and he was complaining about all the booking over here. Said he's not really had a good time over here in America. I was surprised to hear that because he's been featured rather prominently. I mean, in the top of cards, he was in... he had that big tag match at All In. He's been around for like a year and a half, 2 years, something like that.
He had that huge match with Ospreay.
Yeah, that was very good. Where was that at?
That was Revolution.
Revolution, yeah. I was just watching our show. That's the best show we've done since the Vince stuff.
What, the Revolution
The
review?
Revolution one. The preview, I think it was.
Trent Beretta versus Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. I don't like the fact that... Did you see the match they had on Dynamite? Was it on Dynamite or was it on Collision? Who the fuck knows? But he gave a pile driver on the steps, and Little Pockets got right up. The pile driver! The fuck! God! Darn it!
So pissed off.
Because it's like you watch baseball. If you play fundamental baseball, the game doesn't get away from you. It's like, I should not be sitting at home on my couch watching this shit, which I don't know why, because I'm still pissed they got me for that footage shit the other week with the Bucks.
That was like a month ago.
Yeah. It's a few weeks. It's 4 weeks. But I should not be scratching my head and be like, why did he do that? He got up from a pile driver. You're not going to sell a pile driver? Then why do it if you're not going to sell it?
And Chris Jericho, accompanied by the Redwood. No, the learn. And the learning tree. Chris Jericho, accompanied by the Redwood, Big Bill, versus the FTW Championship Eliminator winner. Which
don't say Eliminator. Eliminator's used too much.
The winner of the three-way match between Hook, Shibata, and Brian Keith.
That poor son of a bitch doesn't even know what's going on, Shibata. Because not only does he have that brain injury, I don't think he speaks English either.
No, that's why all his promos, he does a text-to-speech thing. It's funny.
It's not bad.
Joe came up and was talking shit to Hook, and then he had like a Hawaiian...
So he's like Stephen Hawking?
And he had like a Hawaiian shirt on, and then Shibata just types something in his phone and presses the play button, and he just says, he is too big to be wearing a floral patterned shirt. It's funny.
He's like Stephen Hawking on Family Guy. Ha 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 ha. Boom shakalaka.
That's what it sounds like.
Christ.
But it's
Stephen Hawking.
It's a good gimmick.
Stephen Hawking, who's just came up that he was apparently having sex with underage girls on Epstein's Island. Stephen Hawking, the genius black hole Lou Gehrig disease guy. Yeah, you going right to you got to look that up. I have no faith in the world anymore. There,
whatever,
nephew.
Whatever. He was a fucking idiot because he said that.
Because
he said that philosophy was pointless.
You're a philosophy major, aren't you?
I'm a philosopher. Yes.
Philosopher, stand-up philosopher. You ever see History of the World Part 1? Mel Brooks is comic instead of a stand-up comedian. He's a stand-up philosopher.
Yeah, well, I got two words for you. Suck it!
He goes to the unemployment office, and it's B. Arthur from Golden Girls. And she goes, what's your job? He goes, stand-up philosopher. She goes, oh, a bullshit artist.
Gee, thanks.
No, come on, it's funny. Watch the movie. But anyway, all right. What else we got here?
The bounty hunter, Brian Keith.
Who is that? Is that Soraya's brother?
No, that's a different guy.
Who's that? What's his name?
Soraya's brother is... Let me look his name up.
He's one of them dirty fucks from All In, wasn't it?
God, you hated her family.
I didn't need to see them.
It was like her... Like, you hated her family.
You were like, her family's all wrestlers. I'm like, you don't say. That's like saying you didn't know Nick Gage is from National Park. He looks like everybody else from that fucking town. The bank-addicted drug robber. Where are we on this goddamn paper?
Wait, the bank?
Drug-addicted bank robber, whatever.
Here we go. Her relatives, her brother is Zach Zodiac.
I was going to say Zach Zodiac. No, her brother's in AEW. That's not him.
Yeah. He's in AEW now.
Really? All right. Well,
Zach Zodiac.
I don't care enough to keep having this line of questioning. So continue.
Yeah, he's about her age, and then her mother is Sweet Soraya.
Oh God, there's nothing sweet about her. The only thing sweet about her is sugar because she's got diabetes. That's about it.
Because her family ran a promotion, or I think still runs a promotion in the UK.
That what is it like the British version of train wreck wrestling? There it is. It makes its tail, rears its ugly head again.
World Wrestling All Stars.
Oh,
I mentioned that too.
The legend continues. The Dynamite on 515 had 672,000 viewers overall.
Like I was saying, that's misleading because it's still like viewers on TV overall are down. It's still the third highest thing on...
You're saying that because they all say that.
You're saying it's the third highest thing on Wednesdays behind the NHL and the NBA playoffs.
Okay, but what happens after the NHL and the NBA playoffs are over? That's what we got to talk about.
Maybe it will be the highest rated program on Wednesdays then.
Well, they get it. They're in talks with... This is another thing that makes me think Warner Brothers Discovery is going to give them another... extension and give them a little more money because they're in talks for yet another show.
I don't think that's true.
I hope not. Do you need 4? Because seriously, let's say, you have Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, and Ring of Honor, right?
Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor counts. Don't give me that shit. They run it concurrently. They put Ring of Honor titles on their show. It's like it's a waste of fucking time. But
Mark Briscoe's the champion. Redneck Kung Fu!
Oh my God, he was cracking me up when he was doing NBLs.
Hey, he's over.
I did come up with my own theory, though. I'm always doing this. Brandon Thurston over at WrestleNomics always does the polls about stuff. I was listening.
Wait, WrestleNomics, don't they follow the show?
I think it's WrestleNova.
Whatever.
WrestleNomics may, I don't know. If they follow us, I would. If anybody who follows us, I automatically lose respect for. But anyway, the AEW trend, right?
Yeah.
What I've been studying is that about 100,000 viewers don't turn off, but they at least change the channel when the Bucks are on. They do. If you go by the segments when they're in. They do come back, though. But 41,000 on average turn away for Okada and 15,000 for Mercedes Moné. It seems that all this high-priced talent, it can't be, but it makes it sound like nobody has any interest in all the high-priced talent.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Well, dude, the numbers, I'm just saying, people are looking the other way. And the Bucks are ratings poison. Poison, I tell you.
Hey, they're the EVPs.
Yeah, they could take their new Reebok pump shoes and
shove
up their ass.
That was funny when they announced that.
No, they announced it?
On the show, that was like an ad that they did with Okada. Hey, don't say that.
What, I already did. It's too late now. Go ahead. What about?
But anyway, they did this thing where they beat up John Silver and Evil Uno. They had the shoes on. They had the Reebok pumps. What?
Did you just waste oxygen on that whole thing?
What?
They beat up Silver and the other guy. What? Because they're the only people on the roster. They're bigger than
Pizzeria Uno.
Uno's a fat fuck.
He can wrestle though. He can beat the shit out of guys.
Sure, he can. And they're talking about Naito and Moxley at Forbidden Door 3.
Makes sense.
I would like to see it. I'd sit on American soil where I could watch it. Like, well, I could bootleg those live.
Well,
yes, I don't pay for this shit.
Well, apparently Forbidden Door, this Forbidden Door is also going to be the first one to include CMLL.
That hasn't been confirmed yet, but they've been saying that for the last 6 months. I've been hearing that. But like I said last week, these rumors start somewhere, you know? What else we got?
This is going to be the International Summit of Wrestling.
Oh, we got some miscellaneous news right here now. Buff Bagwell. Yes, the Buff Bagwell. And Big John Dalton.
Who's Big John Dalton?
Who the fuck knows? Why is Buff wrestling? But they are your new Memphis Wrestling Tag Team Champions of the World.
What's Memphis Wrestling?
I guess it's Memphis, Tennessee.
So Buff is still wrestling? Marcus Alexander Bagwell, one half of the American Males? American Males, American Males, American Males, American males.
You know, I hated
American
when they came on TV.
American males.
Because I hate that song.
American males.
Almost as much now as I did 25 years ago.
See them coming, better run for cover.
Oh my God,
ladies,
you would know the
don't
words.
need a weekend lover. Whoa! American
Don't be
males.
doing wrestling. Dude, we'll start doing wrestling themed karaoke on here. Don't make me bust out the Rougeau brothers.
What was the Rougeau
We're
brothers?
all American boys. Because they moved to Memphis.
The Rougeaus.
Yeah, Raymond and John.
It's like the Bushwhackers when they tried to start a USA chant.
They're from fucking New Zealand.
That's the... And where they did that? Legends of Wrestling.
Scott D'Amore's Border City Wrestling is going to host an event in Toronto. He started up another fed here for himself.
He got kicked out of TNA.
I don't hear as much about TNA anymore. I mean, like, not as much spectacular shit since Scotty went out the door. I
heard that Matt showed up. And Matt Hardy's the main eventer now.
Wow. That's the worst thing.
Broken Matt.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard. If they were doing it at the height of the gimmick like years ago, oh God, because that was over.
But now it's like, and yeah. Not even Zolf Diggler is
or Bork Laser.
Who's Bork Laser?
Brock Lesnar.
Oh, like not Hammerstone or Zolf Diggler, not the new guys they brought in. Matt Hardy's the one who's getting the main event push.
Fat Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
And Billy Corgan denies that the cocaine spot ruined the NWA Power's chance of getting on the CW.
NW Saul Reigns, ambassador to the Cobb, Father James Mitchell.
That was awful. That's about as far as I got into it. It's in like some Jewish hall in Cleveland.
We've talked about this.
But no, you cannot believe how little people are there.
It's the NWA in 2023. What do you expect?
And finally, I guess we'll end on this. Ric Flair thrown out of that Paisano's restaurant for drunken disorder.
I kept seeing that story. What did he do?
He was drunk, and I guess he was being too loud, and they said something to him, and he was talking about, I spent $1,500. Woo! I think he was wooing and shit and all that because he was fucking hammered. So.
The consortium was...
Wait, what was it? When Shane and Stephanie sold their stock to the consortium, that the consortium... Woo!
What was that thing you told me about when they did the shot when China was in that Royal Rumble porn movie?
Oh my
and
God!
They had Ric Flair when they had someone.
I just showed that to somebody within the last few years. Guy I work with, and he agreed with me. He thought it really was Flair. Buck naked, high heels, comes doing the Fargo strut right into the fucking room. But I think that's all the time we have for this week. Good night, everybody.
Get your hand off my penis!